I'm aware of it that you all have been struggling for a long time to just make yourself think in this language. But please don't panic because I have a solution for your problem. In this video, I'm going to be introducing 5 interesting tips which can make you think in this language very effortlessly and very swiftly. So, without any further ado, let's take a look at those tips one by one. If we talk about the tip number 1, it is about immersion. That means you have to immerse or engross yourself in this language. The more you engross in this language, the better you become at this language. So how to immerse ourselves in this language? This is the first question that rises in our mind, right? So first of all, what you have to do is you just take your mobile into your hands and do one thing. Just change all the settings from your native language to this English language. This is very simple here. Like whatever the applications you are using, that settings must be changed or switched because your motive is to think in this language, right? Because you're not able to think in this language. First step is you have to you have to push yourself forward to be able to think in this language. First of all, remember, it is not our native language, it is not our mother tongue. So we have to put efforts and do not be discouraged and do not undermine yourself that you're not able to think in this language for a long time. What should I do? What should I do? Do not be harsh on yourself. You can achieve it very soon. Just follow these tips. Everybody says the same tips. Okay, there is no difference between these tips also, but it just depends on you. It just relies on you how you are using them, how you are implementing them. Okay, so first you have to change the settings, and whatever the applications you use, what happens that time whenever you get notifications, they pop up on the notification bar, and that time you feel like switching. That time whenever we scroll the notification bar, we engage ourselves with this language a lot of times. So this is how you become very familiar to this language. So just try to be amiable with this language. Try to make it as your friend in your everyday life. Once you start changing your settings, then you can be in touch with this language every day, because mobile is the gadget that we carry everywhere, every time, and it will be always in our hands, right? So that is why I'm telling you all. So our day starts, actually everybody day starts with this mobile. So start your day with this language itself, then you get positive vibes. Okay, so this is the number 1 tip. When we talk about, or when we look at the tip number 2, it is about think in English during everyday activities. I know that this is the reason why you have clicked on this video, because you want to make yourself think in this language. Then how come you are able to think in English during everyday activities? It sounds very confusing or puzzling, right? Okay, let me make you clear this point to you all. First of all, what you have to do here is, whatever you are doing, wherever you are going, however you are doing the things, just try to describe it to yourself. Yes, this is what exactly you have to do. Thinking in this language is not a rocket science, is not at all a difficult task, it is not a cumbersome task. It can be achieved by everyone. If I can do it, why can't you guys do it? So these are the tips actually I just implemented in my English journey, and of course they yielded very good results. So that is why I'm telling you all to do this or to implement this. So thinking in this language is not at all difficult, and at the same time not at all easy. You have to put some efforts, then you can get beautiful results. So whenever you are going somewhere, for example, you are in the kitchen, or you might be going on a trip, or you might be walking on the road. So these are the things that you are doing. So while you are doing this type of things, or walking somewhere or doing something, just try to describe to yourself. You do not speak out loud, you just think to yourself in this language. Like, what am I doing now? I'm in the kitchen, I'm trying to cook something, I'm trying to cook curry, I'm chopping off the vegetables. Now I have to put the pan on the stove, now I have to add oil to that pan. So this is what little sentences. I'm not asking you for making advanced sentences or fancy sentences. Very little and very small and very simple ones. That is it. You do not just force yourself to make you talk in a fancy language. You do not run after that fluency at first. First, if you will be able to think in this language, then you will automatically get that fluency one day. So first, do not run after it. Okay, it is not good, and at the same time you will end up feeling down in the dumps. Of course, you will feel gloomy because you're not about to get the results what you expected. So please do not expect it at very first day. So this is what all you have to do when you are going somewhere like a college or an office. Try to describe the things that are happening in your vicinity. Like, for example, if you are walking on the road and you are watching like vehicles, then you can just describe simply like, black car just passed by me. I'm now going to my college. After going to the college, I'm trying to attend classes, and now I'm talking to my friends. See, these sentences are very simple. Even a little kid can talk in this language, like in these sentences, right? So this is all about the tip number 2. When we take a look at the tip number 3, it is about speak out loud. Yes, you have to speak out loud. I don't even know how to speak or how to be eloquent when I talk. Then how can I speak out loud? Your question is this. I know that. Actually, here, what you have to do is, whenever you are reading something, whenever you are reading any article or any newspaper or reading something in this language, just speak it out loud to yourself. Read it out loud to yourself, because it improves your confidence, and also it also makes you feel more attentive and vigilant while you are reading something out to yourself. You will be very active. You don't be lethargic that time. So that is the reason why everybody says that when you are reading something, you have to read it out loud, because you will be able to understand it from inside your mind. But what happens when we mumble to ourselves? We don't even feel like reading it. We feel like finishing it as early as possible. We just skim through the lines and finish it. We don't even understand the hidden meaning of that context. This is what happens. So exactly, you can apply this when you are reading something, and at the same time when you are speaking. I know that you do not have a partner, you do not have anyone in your family who speaks in this language, or any co-learner as well. But you have yourself. Yes, you have yourself. So just try to have a small conversation with yourself. You don't need anyone else. Just try to talk with yourself, how you are feeling, and what are the things that you want to do, and what are the things that you want to get in your life. Whatever that comes to your mind, whatever the shit, whatever that moment, crazy, it may sound crazy, insane, ridiculous, or bizarre. It is fine, because you are there for yourself and you're just talking to yourself. You can just laugh out to yourself at yourself. Okay, so please do not feel ashamed. Do not feel ashamed for doing this. Talking to yourself is nothing wrong. Okay, when you are talking to yourself, try to talk a little bit louder, which can make you hear clearly. You know what happens when we talk loudly? It ejects our confidence. Really let others feel that we are fluent enough in this language. This is exactly what happened in my journey as well. Let me tell you that story. When I was a beginner, I used to use many platforms where I can exchange the conversation with other co-learners. So that time, what I used to do, I used to just speak out loud with others. But when we mumble, or when we just talk slowly or with a slow voice, what happens that time? They feel like we are indirectly letting others feel that we are not confident, that we are not fluent enough in this language, and we do not have any knowledge in this language. So this is what we are making others feel about us. So please do not do that. That time, everybody used to comment like compliments, used to give some compliments about my fluency. I was a beginner actually. I used to get astonished at the way I used to get the compliments from random partners, random co-learners, they used to say me that you're already fluent enough this language, why are you learning, and for how long have you been learning this language? But I used to feel very shocked and surprised. I started this language for about 2 or 3 months. How come they say that I'm fluent enough? I know that I'm not fluent enough in this language, but they are just thinking that I'm fluent enough. I have enough fluency in this language because only because of that confidence. I used to speak out loud. I used to show my confidence. I know that I used to make a lot of mistakes, but I used to not care about those mistakes. We don't have to give a fig about those mistakes. Just forget about them. Just go with the flow and talk whatever comes to that mind and talk whatever you feel like. That is it. That is the only way that can make you a eloquent speaker. So this is the tip that I followed when I was a beginner, and you don't believe what kind of magical results we get at the end of the day. So this is about the tip number 3. When we talk about the tip number 4, actually this is a very difficult tip here to follow. That is, stop using translation apps. I know that it is very difficult task for you to uninstall these translation apps. When we are beginners, it is completely fine. It is okay to use these translation apps, but you do not completely rely or depend on this type of tools or apps, because you know what happens when we rely on this type of tools? We don't feel like thinking, and we don't feel like talking in this language on our own. Whenever we get a situation to talk with others, what happens the time we feel like translating it from our native language to English language? That time we can access to this app very easily, right? Whatever I used to do the same thing. Let me tell you the story. You know, whenever I used to talk with others, I don't know what kind of how to make the type of proper sentences from native language to English. So that time I used to use Google Translator. I used to type everything, each and every single word in from my native language to this language. I used to translate it, and I used to note it down somewhere and mug it up, and then after produce it in front of someone. This is what I used to do. But you know what is the disadvantage of this? But whenever we get the chance of talking with someone live, that time how can we translate in front of others? We can't translate, right? So this is not good, and this is not recommended that to use this type of translating applications. So stop using them. And you know what happens when you stop using translation apps or tools? You are letting yourself think very deeply, and you will also find alternative way of saying that particular word. Whatever the word that you are not getting, whatever the sentence that is roaming in your mind, you may not be getting the exact word, exact advanced word, or that particular vocabulary word or any sentence. But if you give yourself some time, if you think calmly and peacefully, then you will definitely find another means alternative way of saying the same word in a different way. So just give yourself some time to think for about 1 or 2 minutes. You will definitely come up with a new word or newer one. Arey yaar, who says that I don't know vocabulary? Everybody knows vocabulary, but where everyone faces problem is they do not know how to implement them in a conversation. This is the problem, main problem. Everybody knows almost 99% of the vocabulary in this language. Very simple vocabulary words I'm talking about. Everybody knows, but we have to implement it. But how can we implement it? If we stop relying on these translation apps, we are giving ourselves a chance to dig up or to explore all those vocabulary, or to excavate all those vocabulary words, whatever we are storing in our mind. You know, we are giving a chance to ourselves that time. In that 1 minute or 2 minutes of time, we can get that time to explore these words from our mind, and we can implement in a conversation. So please try to stop using translation apps. I know it is difficult at first, but I'm not directly saying that you should not use it. You can use only for about 20 to 30%. But there is a limit for everything, right? So in the same way, there is a limit for using this type of tools also. When you are at beginner level, it is okay to use, but when you cross this phase, you have to stop. You have to curb using this language translation apps. So this is all about the step number 4. I hope you would stop. If we take a look at tip number 5, it is about practice. Yes, I never end video without this step because it plays very critical role in improving our English or to do anything in this language. So that is why I'm just forcing you all to practice with others, or at least to yourself. If it is not possible to talk with others, or if you do not have any partners or co-learners, then you can talk to yourself also. But most of the time what happens, learners feel that very difficult to talk to themselves. So that is why they always hold, this is exactly what actually holds them back from talking in this language. So you can do one thing, that is using any application or any tool where you can share your conversation, or where you can have small type of conversations with others who are as keen as you or as curious as you to learn or to improve this language. Okay, so this is what exactly you have to do. I know that some platforms are there, but in those platforms we are not getting this type of partners or co-learners to exchange conversations. I can feel it. I can understand your problem. But instead of using this type of platforms, you can also use paid applications. But here the main problem is we can't afford them because they are bit expensive. So that is the reason why nobody shows interest in installing paid applications. I know your problem. I know like economical or financial problems, but just think one time, once we spend like some amount of money, then we can get or imbibe a lot of knowledge from directly from native speakers. So just think one time about it, and it is okay even if you can't afford it, just leave it. Okay, I'm not forcing you all to install any other kind of like paid applications. You can also use like Talk Now or Ace Fluency or CV app. So these are the actually platforms I used to improve my English. I never spent even a single rupee. One time I installed Cambly application, spending 50 rupees only to make a video to upload in my YouTube channel. But it is a very expensive actually, but at the same time you will get an opportunity to talk with directly native speakers and experts and professionals in this language. So just think twice about it before you are doing something. So these are the tips actually, and you have to practice English, right? Whenever you are doing something, you have to practice English. Whatever the activities that you are doing, you do it. I'm not saying anything about the tips or tricks or any steps that you are implementing in order to reach that fluency, but at the end of the day, make sure yourself that you are practicing. That means having conversation with others in this language. Do not give me any excuses or any complaints that I'm not getting, that I'm not able to find, that I'm not able to afford. It is your headache, right? You have to take care of it, of everything on your own. If you want to reach that fluency, then you have to. Without breaking an egg, we can't get omelette. That means we have to sacrifice something to get something in our life. So think about it. So these are all the steps that I wanted to mention in this video. So that's all about the video. I'll catch you in my next video. Till that time, please keep on shining and keep on smiling. Bye bye.